Hey guys, and welcome to an old school 2 War Warhammer 2 clash. I'm a Rubber Ducker War, but today we have some awesome opponents facing off against each other. It is a Skaven versus the Empire, traditionally a nice matchup for the Manlins. We'll have to see what the Skaven player can bring to bear, and it is a really exciting build on both sides. So let's delve into this. I'm going to keep the game paused whilst I go through the armies, just because, as you can see, there is a mass vanguard situation, and we actually have the Golden Company from Game of Thrones in Total War Warhammer, and it is the triple gold chevron free company Militia in a nice vanguard position, looking to apply as much pressure to the Skaven as possible with an Empire Rush build. In the secondary battle line, or it should be the main battle line, I suppose, after the Vanguard, we do have Sigma Suns in the center, and then a load of cheap and cheerful spearmen, backed up by Empire Knights as well as Knights of the Blazing Sun. Their lances of fire with the righteous fury of Sigma. And who is fanning that fire? It is none other than Volkmar the Grim, one of the most OP generals in Warhammer 2 in my opinion, and has been for quite some time. Incredible combatant up against Skaven. He has a fire damage, which is going to be quite nice up against Frot the Unclean today. A load of very powerful buffs, and it's just an absolute world beater at pushing into enemy back lines. We have a grey wizard down here with Pendulum, and that is it for the forces of the Empire. Skaven, much more compact formation, probably looking to push out when they know what they're up against. We have Skaven Slave Spears in the front line. We do have Warplot Jezzails, as well as the Natty Bobu Sharpshooters in the middle. Nice bit of long-range pressure, as well as 1 unit of the Poisoned Wind Mortars. We have some Clan Rats just holding it down in the back, as well as the Pitfires of Helm's Deep, who always remind me of Helm's Deep every single time, but they look fantastic. So eager and ready to rip and tear into the enemy. So a couple of little Raugers, looks like 3 units in total on the back, as well as some Warp Grinders. Very interesting choice, able to pin the enemy in place with some of their abilities. Looks like we have 2 of those bad boys today. Very excited to see how they get on. And then leading the charge of a Warlock Engineer alongside Frot the Unclean, who is a giant rat riding an even gianter rat into glorious combat. Very excited to see how this one does indeed go. So without further ado, let's get this battle underway. So it looks like we're going to get some early pounding going down by the mortars, who are the Free Company Militia, not too used to being pounded in the face, not enjoying this whatsoever, down to half HP after 1 volley. We do get an early Clan Rat summon as well, just to stem the tide of the missile pressure coming in from the Free Company Militia. And now the Warlord Jezzails have opened up shooting, of course, aiming for Volkmar the Grim. Certainly a good target. He does have that regeneration, so you're gonna do damage to Volkmar. You better keep up that pressure. We're gonna get an early Pendulum go down the line. It is aimed a majority at the Warp Grinders. That's okay damage to them, nothing too crazy to them and the Clan Rats. Not a bad cast, not a great one either. Rat Ogres now clatter into the Free Company Militia. Knights of Blazing Suns. Lances are low as they pound into the rotten flesh of the mighty Rat Ogres. Maybe a close fight, but with the charge, I still expect the Knights of Blazing Suns to come out on top. Clan Rats are nearby for support, and in the middle there is just a flustercluck of madness. Rat Ogres are pinning Volkmar the Grim. We have a summon of Rat Ogres as well from the mighty Frot the Unclean, and so much pressure is now coming into place. We're having Volkmar the Grim pinned in by the Warp Quake and Seismic Snare, making him the perfect target for the Natty Bobu Sharpshooters and Warplot Jezzails. Looks like on the left-hand side there's some big gaps opening in the Skaven formation. They are forcing off the enemy for now. Clan Rats and Rat Ogres going to have to be proactive, shutting down the enemy Knights, who are actually going to get a free charge on the Warlord Jezzails here. These Ogres really need to counter-charge a bit quicker, and there we go. Now they're going to be leaping and bounding into combat, to be able to fend off the enemy. In the main front, it looks like Volkmar the Grim is incredibly low HP-wise. He is so close to death, and Frot the Unclean is on his arse. He has remolded popped on himself. He just needs to keep up the pressure and kill Volkmar, but he gets distracted. No! This is a giant mistake. The Grey Wizard is able to pin Frot the Unclean in place, and he doesn't go after Volkmar, instead allowing the Warlord Jezzails to attempt to finish the job, which is very, very risky. Volkmar could be finished off now by Frot the Unclean, but he won't go after him. Instead, looking to save his fellow Skaven, perhaps, and go after the Free Company Militia. Natty Bobu Sharpshooters are being run down now by Knights of the Blazing Sun and Empire Knights. Doing a pretty decent job. We do have some Clan Rats as well as the Pitfires of Hell's Deep able to come in here and attempt to intercept the enemy, but a lot of the back line has been shut down by the Empire player. However, his own front line's not looking that great. Warlock Engineer leading a ferocious countercharge into the heart of the Empire forces. Very close game so far. About to get yet another Pendulum going down the line, aiming at those Warp Grinders, who have been a relatively decent support unit in the middle, it would seem, forcing back the Spearmen, and now they can drive into the heart of the Free Company Militia. Bounce power is Skaven favored. Frot the Unclean is far healthier, so that's going to make a lot of sense. And the Mighty Pitfires are doing a decent job now, dragging down the Empire Knights by beating the living snot out of them, using Warpstone as knuckle dusters, rending and tearing into Empire flesh. It's a good day to be a big fat rat ogre. We do have more returns to battlefield as well, including some Warp Grinders, so there's some pesky Empire Knights who may be able to finish them off. But so the mortars are still firing, aiming at the Free Company Militia, applying that poison effect, which is so powerful, doing a lovely job. Seems like Varmund the Grim has been able to heal up quite a bit, and I think this is honestly a giant mistake by the Skaven player, not finishing off Volkmar when he had the chance. A lovely Summon of Plague, though. It's such a cool animation. We rarely get to see it. Doing some pretty big damage here. Looks like the Empire Knight's been forced off, and the Spearmen not having a good time, puking up their innards, and just getting all around a bit of a nasty disease from that plague. Frot the Unclean has Creature Killer popped on him. Despite his weakness to fire, he is going toe-to-toe Volkmar the Grim, proving once and for all the Horned Rat is the true power in the realms, not this pesky Sigma we've been hearing so much about. Empire Knights, as well as Knights of Blazing Sun, attempt to fight over the corpse of Volkmar and not allow him to fall into the clutches of the Skaven, who will probably do a load of horrible mutations and mutilation to him in general. Anti-Mobile Sharpshooters are unleashing hell. We have Warp Grinders and Skaven Slaves who are attempting to protect them. I think the Empire Knights may get their wish, though. They've got vengeance in their hearts and lances in their arms. And it looks like, yeah, the siege sales didn't exactly last too long. The Knights did get pinned in place, though. They themselves are likely to be shattered and broken here. Looks like only... let's see how many models they actually have left. Only 19 models left. Frot the Unclean's going to be bounding over here. Very close game so far. Balance power is relatively even. A decent amount of the Golden Company has returned back to the main fight, which is good to see, of course. And they're now going to be unleashing shots into the Plague Priest, who's just having a whale of a time round here, swinging his mace around left and right, doing some pretty decent damage. The Suns, of course, are unbreakable, and they'll give him a little 1-2 punch combo, though Frot the Unclean is on arrival, doing some pretty nice damage. 60 kills as well for the grotesque rat boy. Pretty excited to see him in action in general. We do have the Warp Grinders, who are falling back at the moment away from the pressure of the Free Company Militia, hopefully to drag them into the Skaven Slaves, and they will accept that fight with gusto, drawing their swords and charging into hand-to-hand combat, yelling for Sigma, despite the fact Sigma's chosen Volkmar has forsaken them. Frot the Unclean is diving in, doing some pretty decent damage once again, aiming at the Free Company Militia, attempting to sort them out. He is very close to his healing cap, which is bad news for him. There is also Knights of the Blazing Sun left on the battlefield. 29 models. They may not have much HP, but they can still do a decent amount of fire damage to Frot. Surround him and drag him down. Looks like Spearmen are clambering over top of each other in an attempt to get to the one who destroyed Volkmar. Alas, the Warlock Engineer has been forced back. Looked like the Grey Wizard used some trickery to seal his fate. Clan Rats are duking out with Spearmen. We do actually have a few Warlock Giselles, just 6 models left, popping some long-range shots, but all those shots certainly could add up. Lovely Pendulum comes down the line by that Grey Wizard, taking out the Clan Rats and Skaven Slaves and saving the men of Sigma. Big fight going down in the middle. Looks like we have a Clan Rat summoner looking to push away the Free Company Militia. Frot the Unclean is constantly hounding and harassing them wherever he can. In the distance, you can see the fallen carcass and remains of Volkmar the Grim. It seems like he's also kind of worked as a martyr here, inspiring the Empire troops to keep fighting, although a lot of them have also started to give up a little bit of hope. What can men do against such reckless, gigantic moles and rats? Frot the Unclean is bounding towards the enemy. He takes a load of shots, point-blank range into the face. He's taken significant damage now, but the Free Company Militia are being terrified away. It's good to note Frot does indeed cause terror, and that's some pretty bad stuff for the Empire lads in the latter stages of the battle when all their units are so beat up. There's terrifying beasts coming clambering towards you, soaked in the blood and holding the head of Volkmar high in the sky. It's a lot of the time going to make units run away. So it looks like the summon has indeed dissipated and gone back to the foul depths from once the Skaven forces came. Empire Knights are being terrified. Knights of Blazing Sun bravely charging one more time, though, into the deep, lads. And they do decent work, but Creature Killer has been popped from Frot the Unclean. You expect him to assassinate the Knights relatively quickly. He is being pinned in place, though. This is allowing the reformed Golden Companies to shoot back in. And he's taking a lot of damage right now. The Warp Grinders do come in with some decent damage. Warlock Engineer has managed to stabilize and rally himself. However, the Plague Priest is running. That means no more summons for the forces of the Skaven. Balance power is very even. Front the Unclean attempting to take out the enemy leadership, which is a smart play here to really force back the leadership of the Empire troops. So 2 units of Free Company Militia are going to continue to fire. Front the Unclean bounds through the defensive line and instantly jumps on top of the unit, which turns and flees in pure terror of the mighty Ratto. More Free Company Militia attempt to get one last volley off, and they do. Popping shots whilst walking towards their deaths. Front the Unclean shatters them though, and that is a lot of the ranged troops. In fact, all the ranged troops for the men of the Empire broken and gone. Incredibly close game so far. A few spearmen left. Of course, they have that bonus versus large. We do have the Grey Wizard nearby. Front the Unclean instantly beelines to the units he knows he can break, which is a smart idea. Sigma Suns are unbreakable here. Still 36 models on them. That's going to be a solid amount of damage. We do have a Plague Priest who may come back. It does seem unlikely at this stage of the battle. Balance power is massively in favor of the Skaven, though. Borderline army losses. In fact, this would be army losses right now, but the men of Sigma care little for what the balance of power says. They shall fight on. We have 32 Sigma Suns versus Front the Unclean. Balance of power knows not what it is reckoning with. Front the Unclean up to 860 HP. He has, reached his healing cap. He's had a fantastic day all round today. I think he's been a powerhouse, and I think Front the Unclean, a little underrated perhaps in the latter stages of the Warhammer 2 life cycle. Sigma Suns down to just 29 models there. Really getting a couple of licks in here though. Front the Unclean turns his back to the majority of them. Decapitates a few. Looks like he is going to be doing a cheeky bit of cycle charging, moving back and forth into the units, but he's starting to actually waver despite balance of power being on army losses still. The Sigma Suns down to just 19 models, but Front the Unclean gets dragged down, and the men of Sigma stand firm. An absolutely ridiculous ending. Thank you for Akidas for sending this one in. Apologies, I completely butchered your name there. And he was taking on David the Pillager, and that was just a awesome game all around. That was so much fun. Front the Unclean, 169 kills, 2.4k gold value. One of the best games I've seen in quite some time. Actually, saying that, I think the last game I cast may have also been an insane Warhammer 2 one with 2 top-tier competitive players. So I've had a lot of good Warhammer 2 replays recently, and I've certainly been enjoying casting them. Hope you guys enjoyed them as well. If you did, make sure to leave a big fat juicy thumbs up and subscribe to the channel for more glorious content into the future. Feel free as well to leave a comment down below what you thought of the battle, or simply yell something in the name of Sigma, due to those Sigma Suns just being absolute chads. Certainly one of the better regiment renowned for the Empire. Them and the Silver Bullets are so amazing. I like the Front the Unclean pick though by the Skaven. 169 kills, 2.4k value is impressive, but alas, it was not enough. Massive shout out to all my YouTube members as well as Patreons. You can find information about them down below in the description or underneath the video, and they're basically the guys who keep the channel going, so massive shout out to them. And there's also a load of links down below to Twitch and my Discord, where you can submit replays, get involved in live streams and events, and just chill out with a load of cool people. Until next time, peace, and as always, stay awesome.